I was like in a wheelchair in Dubai. I don't have a job anymore. It was so depressing. I was depressed. I was so anxious. My friends used to do everything for me. Like they even helped me shower. I couldn't shower on my own. I couldn't do anything.
It's Thrive Live, a show about founders and leaders and the personal stories behind the companies and careers they built. Hey, I'm Farida Gilmore, host of Thrive Live. And on today's show, how nutritionist turned social media manager Ghida Arnaout went from being unemployed, in a wheelchair, and suffering with bouts of anxiety to creating a popular adventure travel company aimed at the first-time explorer. Now, our story starts with Ghida telling us what it was like growing up in her hometown of Saida in Lebanon.
So I was raised like in the same home, in the same school, the same town, from like since I was born until I graduated from school.
Oh wow!
But like I've always been a kind of a rebel kind of person. My mom, like my mom is a little bit conservative. Actually, she is conservative, not a little bit.
Okay.
She's religious. She kind of she used to force us to do like religious stuff, and I guess I just rebelled against that. Like I never liked someone forcing me to do anything, especially if I'm not like convinced. But I was also raised in a bookshop. So my grandpa, who is my idol, he's my role model. He was an entrepreneur, like by all means. He built his company like since he was 17 years old.
Wow.
And which is like this bookshop. And I spent lots of time in it, and I used to read a lot of magazines, from the West, and like a lot of books. So I'm sure this had a lot of influence on me, when you're reading and you're seeing things from the outside and you're reading a lot of stuff.
For those who don't know Saida, and can you describe what kind of city that was?
So basically, at that time, now things are a little bit different, but usually they expect you to like go to school, go to university, and then find a good guy and marry him and have kids and live there and have the exact same life you had as you were growing up, And I never wanted to do that.
It's interesting to me that obviously you're so known now for this amazing sort of outdoor energy and brand, and that's kind of what you're known for. But actually your memories of the childhood were being inside a bookshop and immersing yourself in books. So at what point did the love of the outdoors come to you in your life?
So I always liked adrenaline stuff and adrenaline filled activities, and I like the outdoors because my dad used to take us on outdoor picnics all the time when we were kids. So I had this memory of the outdoors. But on the adventure side, like none of my family or even anyone in my society was anywhere near adventures, But then when I went to university, I went into the hiking club, and I was a member, and I hiked there, and I was hiking, and I just loved it. But it wasn't as intense as like 5 years ago, and I will tell you why.
From university, you come out of university with your degree, your bachelor's in nutrition.
Yeah.
And then you go into doing what?
No, so I graduated, and then I had to do 1 year internship in a hospital in Beirut.
Okay.
And then after that, I found a job in Saida, my hometown. This is the only place I found a job in. But then I found a job in a hospital, and I was working in the hospital. But this year, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. So it was like exactly where I had to be, Okay. And so I spent 1 year working in this hospital, and my mom was like going through chemotherapy. But of course, like this was one of the most depressing years of my life. It was 2009, I think. And then when my mom started getting better, I started applying to jobs in Dubai because I knew that there was no way I was gonna live inside her. You know, like working in the hospital and seeing like how the culture is around me and all that. I was like, I cannot be here. This is like torture. So I applied for jobs, and then one day I got a call and I did an interview and I got the job. And it was the hardest thing ever because my mom was against it completely. Like, you know, at that time, Dubai wasn't that big. It wasn't that easy for people to just go and live there, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't common.
Yeah.
So everyone around my mom started telling her, like, how are you going to send your daughter? She's never going to get married. And my mom is like, this is like a man's job to go and leave their country and go to make money. Why are you leaving? And all that. But I couldn't. Like, I had to step on my heart and just leave. And I can even remember the day I left. Like, my mom was crying on the door. It was really, really hard, but I knew I had to do it, or else I would be like stuck in a life I don't want to be in all my life. Yeah.
And so the job in Dubai was as a nutritionist, right? Or...
Yeah. I worked in dietetics for like almost 7 years.
And what was Dubai like back then? Like you said, obviously it was very different from what
I didn't know anyone. Like, I literally didn't know anyone. I remember the first month I was there, I used to like just sit on the mattress. I just had a mattress and cry.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't easy at all, like in the beginning.
But what do you remember of that time when you were obviously you had your very difficult situation with your mum not wanting you to go and having that pressure to stay at home, but this desire that I just can't stay there, I need to move on. And then arriving in Dubai, once you got here, were you excited? Were you scared? Were you anxious? What were the feelings that you had?
All of them together.
Yeah.
All of them together. Like, it was a completely new life. Like, even when I moved to Dubai, I never visited Dubai before.
Yeah.
So it was completely new. It was the first time in my life I do this. It was so scary. I was more scared than excited. But then, and even I remember, like, in the first 2 weeks, I was like, after I signed my contract for 3 years, I remember one day I was in the taxi, like at night, and I was looking at the buildings and I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to continue 3 years here?
Oh, wow.
Like, I cannot do it. This is so hard.
Did you think you'd made a mistake and were starting to doubt having ever?
No, I didn't think I made a mistake, but I just thought, like, this is not going to be easy. And I don't know if I like the city. What is this? Like, where am I? All these buildings and towers. Yeah.
In the midst of this feeling of like, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I can last 3 years in this place. I don't know if I like it. What then happened what was the next point where things started to pick up?
I think I just focused on my career. Like, you know, in Dubai, you got a lot of opportunities that I would never dream of getting in my country. So I was working as a dietitian. I was writing in magazines, the magazines that I used to read. I was writing in Cosmopolitan. I was like, oh my God, I'm writing in this magazine. I was like...
Would they approach you to do an article for them? Yeah. Or were you quite active in putting yourself out there?
No, both actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was going on TV, like on NBC and Al Arabiya, to speak about nutrition. I was giving talks. So, you know, I focused on this part, which was amazing. And I just got used to it. I met people. I met like people at work. So everything changed and it was better.
And you say that you were quite, you know, you poured yourself into your career and you were quite active in getting yourself out there to write articles, to do talks. Yeah. Was it easy back then to approach these big international magazines in their offices here how did you do it?
I just emailed people. Like, I literally used to open the magazine, you know, find the email of the editor. There was no Instagram and all that.
Yeah.
And I was just emailing. This is something that I love about myself, actually, that I'm very persistent. Like, if I want something, I will go for it. And I will try. Even if I don't get it, I don't care. I will try regardless.
And what were you saying to these editors? Hi, I'm Ghida. I'm a nutritionist. What were you putting to them?
Yeah, like, I can write articles if you want.
And then you started blogging in around 2012, which is, I guess, when the blogging kind of scene was coming up, right?
Exactly. So I had my blog and I used to share music. So I used to share music a lot on my Facebook because, as I told you, like I literally listened to music 8 hours a day. And then I was like, why not put them in a website? So I opened this website and I started sharing music, and then Instagram happened and I started like sharing street style and fashion and all that, but like more of the low key kind of fashion and music. And this is when like my blog started. And then it shifted to something completely different so this is the story. So in 2013, I was actually it was the New Year's Eve of 2013.
Okay.
I was in Spain with my friends and we went to this club after dinner, like to party a little bit. And then I was standing on a like next to the DJ, there's this podium where people stand and dance. And then a guy pushed me and I fall and I fracture my hip.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I had to do immediate surgery.
What's going through your mind? Are you like,
oh my God. It was hell. It was hell. But thank God I had Spanish friends. Like they came and they took care of me and they took care of everything that I couldn't like communicate with the Spanish doctors and the Spanish hospital. And then after that, I go to Dubai, of course, on a wheelchair. I had to stay in a wheelchair for 4 months.
Wow.
And I got laid off from my job. And then imagine, like, so after 3 months, I was like in a wheelchair in Dubai. I don't have a job anymore. It was so depressing. I was depressed. I was so anxious. My friends used to do everything for me. Like they even helped me shower. I couldn't shower on my own. I couldn't do anything. And this is when I realized that, okay, now I cannot do anything. Like literally, I'm depending on everyone to do everything. So the minute I can walk again, I'm going to go crazy. This was what was going on inside my head.
Right.
So it was April, I think, and finally I could walk again. Of course, I had to learn how to walk again because I haven't used my leg for 4 months. And what I did is I decided to go to Nepal on my own. And also then, it was crazy for a woman to go to Nepal on her own. You know, like, are you insane?
Was there a reason you chose Nepal out of everywhere?
I've always wanted to go to Nepal. I don't know why. Like, it was just this place that was stuck in my head for some reason. I think I read about it somewhere, and I know that it had like the Himalayas and all that.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to go there. So
was it important to you that you were going on your own as well, or
I wanted to like disconnect from everything I know.
Yeah.
All the people, everything, Dubai, whatever I know, I wanted just a break. So of course, my mom and my family were like, "Are you crazy? Like, how are you gonna go on your own? And it's not a safe place. Like, it's Nepal." But I didn't listen to anyone. Even my friends thought I was crazy. Like at that time, it wasn't that common, you know,
to
see like someone just traveling on their own somewhere like Nepal. And this is when I started sharing my journey on my Instagram, and I reconnected with like nature, and it was so important for me. It was a therapy. And I just felt like I needed to share this with people and let them do this. Like I literally used to beg my friends, like, please, let's go camping. Please, let's go do this. No one wanted to go. But then I found some people who like to do that, and this became my life in Dubai.
And for you at the time, was blogging and documenting and sharing your journey purely, did you have any other motivation behind it other than this is just like a way for me to share?
Nothing. I had no motivation at all. Like I didn't even ever think I would make money out of this or become like, you know, have followers and all that. It was, I never intended for that. It was just me sharing what I love. And
the kind of people who were resonating with what you were putting out, did it tend to be people who also loved outdoors life, or did you find that it was a mixture of people who appreciated you being honest about, I don't know, anxiety or?
Yeah, both. Because
Yeah.
like I wasn't honest about anxiety until maybe 3 years ago.
Right.
Because for me, it was like this struggle that I was having between me and myself, you know? It
Yeah.
wasn't as open as now, the whole mental health thing.
Yeah.
And I used to think I'm crazy, literally.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And but then one day I decided to just talk about it, and I was shocked to see how many people are feeling the exact same way.
Yeah.
And this is when I felt, you know what, maybe I need to speak more about this, because a lot of people think it's a taboo. Unfortunately, in our society, like even when I used to tell my mom, like, I'm having these panic attacks. I don't know what I'm feeling. She was like, Ghida, it's fine. Just read some Quran, go pray, and everything will be fine. I'm like, no, it's not like that. Like, this is something I can't control. You know, she used to tell me, you're a strong woman, you can get over this. But I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm strong, but maybe I'm also not strong. Like, this thing is really stopping me from living my life. I met Rami online. Rami, who's my fiance now.
Yeah.
He's sitting there right now, pretending he's not hearing me. So we met online, and I actually like saw him on Instagram, and I saw that he's a rock climber and all that. So I followed him. And then we started talking for like a month. And then he's like, oh, I'm coming to Dubai because I'm doing this app, an outdoors app called Life Happens Outdoors. And I'm coming to this convention, and like, do you want to meet? So we meet, and we click, and this is where our relationship starts. But anyway, so he shows me this app he's doing, which is called Life Happens Outdoors. And I told him, like, this is the worst app I've seen in my life. Like, it's shit.
You said that to him?
Yeah. And it was the first time he hears it. He was like shocked. I told him, yeah, like, design-wise, it's not good. It's not user-friendly. What is this? So this is when we started working on the app.
Okay.
So in the beginning, Life Happens Outdoors was an app to connect like outdoorsy people together. And this was the goal in the beginning. So for a year, literally, like, all we did was work on this app, and like we spent money on it and fixed the design, and we found a designer, and we created a logo, because everything I learned in Saatchi and Saatchi, I was throwing it into this app now. Yeah. So and then me and Rami at that time, we were traveling a lot, and we're doing all our travels were adventurous. So we went to Iceland, we did a road trip, we went to Norway, we did ice climbing. So we used to love that a lot. And people started telling us like, oh, why don't you take us with you? Why don't you plan trips for us? And we're like, oh my God, like, let's try that. Why not? People are asking for it, so let's try it. And so Rami planned a whole trip to Kilimanjaro.
Okay.
And like, it got fully booked. And at that point, these trips were a way to fund the app.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So how were you getting the word out? Like, was it through the following you had already?
Yeah. Word of mouth, Facebook, Instagram. And at that point, I was still working in Saatchi, so I couldn't take a leave. So Rami went, and it was really good. So I told Rami, you know what? I feel that maybe we should shift our whole business model.
Right.
Like, people love that. Like, right now, people want to buy experiences. They don't want to buy material stuff. Like, it's shifting. The market is shifting to experiences. And people always tell us, please take us with you. We want to go. So we have the market for it. Why not just like shift it all?
So was the aim with the app was the aim with the app, to go back slightly, was the revenue model there that people would pay for the app and then they would be connected to other people who enjoyed being outdoors and they would like they'd get together? Was that the model?
No, it was like, I think it was, so let's say you are a rock climber, for example, a guide. So someone can connect with you and you can take them rock climbing and you can charge them and we take a percentage of that.
Okay.
That was the model.
Yeah.
But then we started thinking about a lot of things of like how it might not work and what if, like, I don't know, something happens and the logistics were not working, you know?
Right.
So we felt like we needed to shift this business model and we saw that people wanted us to take them on trips. So I told Jami, you know what, let's just forget the app. Like, why are we doing this app? We can just shift everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that. And we started like planning trip by trip. So we plan the trip and we make sure to have guides everywhere we go to. So we always have a certified mountain guide with us because we're not certified mountain guides.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did a trip to Tour de Mont Blanc, which is a hike around the Mont Blanc.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fully booked. And this is when it started. And in 2018, so after like a year of fully doing this, I decided that, you know what, maybe it's time to like quit my job and so that we both focus on this because I wanted to be on the trips as well. And
so at this point, Rami was going on the trip and you were sort of behind the scenes.
Rami was going on the trips and I was going on some of them.
Okay. So a year into starting these trips with Life Happens Outdoors, they're getting fully booked every time. You decide then, right, I'm going to take the leap and quit Saatchi and Saatchi.
Yeah, because at that point as well, I was doing the social media for Life Happens Outdoors and the marketing and all that, and I couldn't just do everything.
Yeah.
And like I was done with the corporate world, you know.
Yeah.
Sitting in an office all day.
Yeah.
When you're someone who loves the outdoors. So it took a while to quit because like when I decided to quit, I started saving for like 2 years and then I quit.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
like it wasn't just a random decision.
So it was very much planned.
Because,
like I know I want to come out of this in a couple of years' time and I'm going to make sure that I've prepared myself to come out of it.
Exactly.
Right.
Mm.
And when you eventually did leave and then dive straight into putting all your energy into Life Happens Outdoors, was it like a great feeling or were there elements of like, oh my God,
actually
do the right thing?
It wasn't. It was one of the hardest years of my life because I was used to working in a company forever, you know. I had a routine and now I don't have this routine and I became very anxious and I didn't know what to do with myself, you know. Like when you're working on your own, it's really hard because you have to motivate yourself. You have to like wake up, have a schedule, have your own deadlines. It's not easy. Like I know people love talking about quitting your job to find your passion, but it's really hard. Like now me and Rami literally we're working 24/7. Like there's no days off.
Yeah. And I wonder how you feel about this kind of this sort of belief in our society at the moment that entrepreneurship is this like glamorous ideal of a career. What are your thoughts around that?
It's really not, because like a lot of days like we're crying, we're like, oh my God, this is not gonna work. How are we gonna get money? You're always like on your nerves, like, oh my God, what if this trip doesn't get booked? What if I don't know what? There's a lot of what ifs and a lot of anxiety around it. It's not easy. So if you're not really, really prepared for it and you know you can handle it, I don't think anyone can do this. Anyone should do this, actually. And there's nothing wrong, by the way, with having a job.
Yeah.
Because, you know, now people are actually making it sound like, oh my God, I don't want to work. Some people like it. Some people are made for a 9-to-6 job, you know? So entrepreneurship is not for everyone. And you don't feel pressured to do it just because it's the trend.
And so you guys are, I mean, obviously you've given us an insight into what it's like to actually run a company like Life Happens Outdoors. It's not easy. You're, like you said, it's 24/7, constantly wondering, is this trip going to get booked up? Are we gonna make money this month? So how emotionally and mentally do you push yourself through the difficult times? Like, do you have like other people that you talk to, or is it each other?
Like for me, yeah, first we talk a lot to each other. Second, for me, I created a routine. Like I knew I had to create a routine because being on the road all the time is really, really, really hard. Like people see that, oh, you're traveling all the time, it's amazing. I'm like, no, it's really hard. We don't have like a base yet. So I've been living out of a suitcase since 2018, and that is really not easy. Like you don't have your stuff with you. You don't know, every day you're waking up someplace different, and like having to take flights all the time and having to care for other people. It's really not easy. So I was saying that I started creating a routine for myself. Like for me, for example, Rami makes sure to run every day. This is his way of like getting it out. For me, I started journaling and writing and like meditating every day. So I just created this routine to hook myself to reality.
Yeah.
To have like a grounding place to like go back to when I feel like anxious or tired or whatever.
And now, obviously, with the situation with the pandemic, the travel industry, your industry has been hit severely.
Yeah.
What's next for you guys? Like, how do you see yourself riding through this? What are your thoughts?
The good thing for us is for now, like it's only me and Rami and 2 other people. So we're not like a huge company, which is a blessing in disguise, because I can't even imagine what other companies with a lot of employees are going through. We had to postpone all the trips for now. Like when the pandemic started, actually Rami was on Kilimanjaro. He didn't know what was happening.
Oh, wow.
I know, and I didn't have a connection to him. I was like, oh my God, I have to tell him, like, we have to postpone our Bhutan trip because there's no way we can go through with it. And so now we're focusing everything to 2021. Hopefully everything will get better. And we're working on our marketing for our community. Like we're trying. It's not easy, but what can we do? Like everyone has been hit with this, not only us.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's anything or anyone that hasn't been affected in some way by what's going on.
Exactly. And I started like a new nutrition page. I decided that. Yeah. So basically from last year, I was thinking like that maybe I shouldn't just lose the skill. I have it. I need it, let me use it. But as I told you before, I don't believe in diets and all that anymore. I really believe in functional nutrition and how you can like change your life, like your health through your food and through the whole lifestyle you live. And so I decided to just create a page and hopefully maybe take online consultations. So you have to think of other ways to make money, You cannot just do one thing.
So you're kind of you're diversifying and going back to the roots of your qualifications, I guess, and seeing what you can do there.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that I want to touch on marketing actually with you, because the community that we have at Thrive is predominantly, companies of one. So they're people who are doing pretty much everything in their business, or they're aspiring to do something, and they're doing it all, which involves obviously the crucial skill of marketing, which is where so many, I think, from what people I talk to, it's such a difficult skill to master. Your pages are beautiful, your words are great, you clearly have built attention and a following, you feature in magazines quite frequently, you were in London to do a campaign. What would you say is like the key to being a good marketeer?
Be real and like don't be someone you're not, because especially now on Instagram, like you go and you see a lot of people just following these trends and like doing these things that are not true to themselves just so that they can gain followers. Like for me, it was never about the followers. Even now, like I've been on Instagram for, I don't know, 7 years and I still have 48,000 followers. So for me, like I want to transform these followers into customers, for example, for Life Happens Outdoors or the Wholesome Self. So you have to connect with them. Like I actually reply to every message I get on my Instagram, for example. And I make sure to make the other person feel that I'm talking to them because I really care, because I do. You know, it shouldn't just be a platform where you're like just showing your life and what you have and all that. No, you have to connect with these people.
Yeah.
Like for me, having 10,000 people who are really loyal to me and to my personality and really know who I am are much better than having 100,000 who I don't know who they are. And
yeah. And I think it's a dangerous kind of numbers game that we've kind of fallen into. I think a lot of people in the business world, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we kind of, there's a lot of value misplaced in numbers and all that kind of stuff. But you're right. I think the engagement and actually the true fans, if you want to call them, are actually so much more valuable than the number on the top of your page.
Yeah. And you should know, like, you should find out what are these people looking for, you know, like when you're marketing something, you're like, you have to always be researching and following and seeing what's happening right now. You know, like, for example, before, Instagram was all about the curated, beautiful, amazing feed that looks consistent and I don't know what. Now, it's actually different. Now, it's more of valuable information. People like to share information. They want to consume information. This is what I feel is happening right now. So you have to shift your strategy based on that.
And so was it important to you and Rami when you were building Life Happens Outdoors and you were taking people on these trips that it was a experience was the key thing, like
definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. This is the most important thing. Experience and to feel that you're learning. You know, that's why, for example, our mountaineering, we have a mountaineering course now because we want you to come to climb a mountain and know what you're doing. Not just like follow someone on a rope. What if something happens to you? We want you to know how to like save yourself in case something happens. It's so important for us to teach people.
Yeah. Do you still enjoy what you do, you and Rami?
I love it. Yeah, we do. Like when you see the happiness on people's faces when they finish a hard trip, for example, or like we have a lot of people who are first timers. This is our goal to like, we want first timers to feel, we want everyone to feel that they are close to the outdoors, you know? It's not just for Red Bull athletes and I don't know who. No, like the outdoors is for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's amazing when you see someone who just like camped for the first time, for example, and it's just an achievement for them and their happiness, and it's amazing.
And that's what fuels you guys. That's your reward.
Yep. Honestly, this is what fuels us. No matter how tiring it gets, no matter how hard it gets, this changes everything.